this film is critical to understanding what made Austin, Austin, and what made San Antonio, San Antonio, as these two areas are growing together and now being identified internationally as the hot new metropolitan area. By 2030, there's going to be 6.5 million people living in the Austin, San Antonio area. And with that kind of growth and with the kind of money that's pouring in here, it asks two really important existential questions. Has Austin lost its groove? And has San Antonio lost its soul? People in both cities are asking these questions, and the answer is Doug Sahm. Here is the one person that straddled the divide, the cultural divide between these two cities, 79 miles apart. Doug Sahm grew up in San Antonio. He is a child, a native son of San Antonio. And he moved to Austin by choice before anyone did. And of course, he declared Austin already too crowded long before anyone did. So whatever you think of these places, and especially if you're a newcomer and you're drawn to these places and you wonder what makes them so special, friends and neighbors, it's about soul and groove. And Doug Sahm was all about soul. He reeked of San Antonio soul. As much as he traveled and all the places he went, he never could get San Antonio out of his life. He didn't want to. He always had to go back to San Antonio. But as much as he traveled, spent time in Sweden and Canada, all around the world, he always came back to Austin too, because Austin is where he found his musical heart. He found the kind of music, all the kinds of authentic Texas music that were being played here in the early 1970s, which basically, that birth is what Doug did when he found all this different kind of music here in Austin that he could play authentically. He could play Western swing, he could play hardcore honky-tonk, he could play rhythm and blues, he could play stone Texas blues, he could play rock and roll. And there were musicians in Austin who knew all this music that he knew. So Austin became his home by choice because it was this great font of music. And you look about when Doug moved here and put down roots 1972 and 1973 and started playing all this different kind of music that was available to him. That is the birth of Americana music, right here in that person at that time.
If he's so important, how come we haven't heard more about him?
Why haven't we heard more about Doug up till now? Well, some people have heard about the Sir Douglas Quintet and songs like She's About a Mover and Mendocino. That's commercial success. And some people have heard about this guy's friendship with Bob Dylan. That's not commercial success. That's just two musicians. And when you drill down deep into this person, he tasted success, and he tasted success on numerous occasions. But he was first and foremost an artist. And that kind of explains music in Austin. Yeah, there's a lot of business being done around music today. But at Austin's heart, musically speaking, it's all about the art. It's about the ability and the opportunity to make music on your terms, not what someone in some corporate office dictates. And that was Doug to a T. That as much as he liked chasing success, whenever anyone tried to tell him what to do or how to do it, or, this is what you have to do to have success, he went off and did something completely different. He would not be owned. He owned himself. And most of all, he owned all that music that he knew. This is a guy that sat on Hank Williams' knee and watched T-Bone Walker, the father of American blues electric guitar. He got to watch these people play direct transmission. And people today don't have the opportunity to do that. Doug did. And so music people knew who Doug was and is. And more people that know about how music evolved, they know who Doug is. The masses don't, but that's one reason you make a movie. That if you want to tell a story, there's no better way than to do it with a moving image. And that's one reason I've been motivated to bring Doug back. And I bring him back for an hour and 20 minutes. You might not have known who he was when he walked this earth, But when you hear him and see him in this film, you're going to know him, and you're going to think, that guy's my guy.